they actually made a biopic about the winner of the Battle of the Billionaires. The world can still surprise you. First things first, Sebastian Stan. Wow. Best performance of his career, hands down. Every time he was on screen, I did not see Sebastian Stan, I saw Donald Trump. He just becomes the role in every way. The voice, the mannerisms, the look. He is the part. It's just one of those transformational type roles that just really impressed me. I don't know if he's going to be in the top 5 lead acting performances by the end of the year, but he's in the top 5 right now. Nowadays, actors playing real people in biopics, especially people who are still alive, can come across as a cheap impersonation SNL sketch. This is not one of those times. Sebastian Stan became Donald Trump on the screen. Also really good in the film was Jeremy Strong as Roy Cohn, Donald Trump's lawyer, the one who Trump learns all of his tricks and trades from. Best Supporting Actor nomination for Jeremy Strong is something that the Academy should also look into. The Apprentice is a character study about Donald Trump in the 70s and 80s with Roy Cohn at his side as his lawyer and how he just becomes the richest person on the planet with all of his real estate deals in New York and Atlantic City. The first half is Roy Cohn taking Trump under his wing and teaching him all of his codes and his rules for success. And then the second half is Trump enacting those rules and just seeing him rise to the top. It's about the rise of Donald Trump financially and successfully, but also the decline of his morals, humanity, and decency. Again, in the film's second half, Trump is going around making deals and he is living life by the code that Roy Cohn has taught him. And just the stuff he says and does to people, it baffles you just how easily human beings can throw their moral compass out the window for the sake of money. I think character studies are always a little bit better when they're about damaged characters or immoral people. And in the case of The Apprentice, it is straight up a supervillain origin story. Roy Cohn even says to Trump, you've got to be willing to screw over anybody and everybody to get to the top. And that's exactly what Trump does. It's one of the darker betrayals of the American dream, if ever there was one. And seeing these people mask their activities in patriotism and say they love America when in reality they're just lining their own pockets and just enabling their own success. It's just created to see the lengths people will go to just to get rich. And in that, this was a magnetic and gripping character study that I just could not look away from. I was fascinated by it. It's quite a fast-paced film, which is fitting because in the second half of the film, Donald Trump is making deal after deal after deal after deal. He's opening Trump Tower, Trump Plaza, Trump Casinos, Trump Airlines. He is just expanding so fast and so rapidly, and I felt the pacing reflected that pretty effectively. I also loved how this film was shot. Very handheld, almost documentary-like. When it's in the 70s, it's very grainy, and then in the 80s, it has almost a VHS look to the quality, which really absorbed me into the film's time period, but also into the story of the characters, because you feel like you're in the nitty-gritty with these people. It refreshingly did not feel like a conventional, cliched Hollywood biopic in its execution and its filmmaking style. There was a part of me that kind of wished they explored Ivana Trump a little bit more as a character in the film, but I thought about it, and in the second half of the film, it's completely centered on Donald Trump. And that's when he starts to completely ignore and neglect Ivana. He's not attracted to her anymore. And I felt like it kind of worked, having her being pushed into the background, because at the same time, Trump is pushing her into the background mentally. There is a really uncomfortable scene, which you've probably read about, and it's kind of rough to watch. And then it quickly transitions to an upbeat montage, which was a bit jarring at first, but again, it being centered on Trump, and it being kind of in his mindset, he just moves on to the more important things in his mind. Some choices like that will catch you off guard a little bit, but given the context of the character or the person and what they're doing and what they're thinking and what their focus is, it works in a really messed up kind of way. As a film, The Apprentice is not going to be everybody's cup of tea. As a portrayal of Donald Trump, well, it's already rustled a lot of feathers already. But as a dark character study, I thoroughly enjoyed The Apprentice, largely because of Sebastian Stan's fantastic performance and great supporting work by Jeremy Strong. But again, the story, I was fascinated by it, I was engaged and intrigued by it, and it's just a really great rise and simultaneous fall of a human being, both financially and morally.